It's Metal Church right here on your classic metal show with the final word. And that one goes out to one of our CMS listeners in the chat room. We never play his songs. God damn it.
Well, you certainly never play any Metal Church on this show.
Yeah, David Smith.
Never play any Metal Church and never play any Dokken.
No.
Of course not.
Or Armored Saint. Love all those bands.
Yeah, I know. It's all the good stuff.
I don't know, man. Just something about Metal Church. Even some of their weaker records, I still like.
Yeah, they're one of those bands. They have a couple albums that I don't like.
Yeah,
but for the most part, I mean they're okay. I mean I like them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean certainly Light of the Dark is where it starts for me. I like that one, probably my favorite. And I know that's fucking not what I'm supposed to say.
That's one of my all-time favorite. Our good friend Ronnie Monroe on that one. But, man, that is a strong record start to finish.
And I like The Dark. The Dark is a good one. And, of course, Metal Church is a real good one.
Mm-hmm. That's a classic.
I mean, they're strong. They're the only ones I think I really don't like is I don't like Weight of the World.
Yeah, that wasn't good. It was... I tried to like that one, and it was just like, it's just lacking some balls or something. I don't know if it's the production or what, but it just does not punch you in the face at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like blah.
That one was the one, and the one with the fat girl on the cover I didn't like too much.
Oh, what is that one?
Because I don't listen to it.
What is that one? It's The Weight of the World.
No, Weight of the World was like
not. Yeah.
It was
The Human Factor.
No, it was Hanging in the Balance.
Hanging in the Balance.
Yeah, Hanging in the Balance.
Yeah, it had that weird purple cover on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't like that one very much either.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
that's a great band though. I like those guys, and they're friendly guys. I mean, they did a whole takeover show with you.
Yeah.
Of course I wasn't there, but just your whole description of you guys huddling around a table over a single microphone.
It was one microphone, and it was like a high school desk.
Yeah.
Everybody was sitting around it, passing the mic around. Old school talking metal style.
Yeah, talking metal style. Pass the mic.
It was, but it was a fun time.
Yeah, good for you. Hail and Kill call. Well, no, they're gone.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah. All right. Well, something that you brought to my attention this week, and somebody that I have to definitely salute, CMS style.
Okay.
Former Giant Aubrey Huff.
Yeah.
Former baseball player, Giant baseball player Aubrey Huff. He says he's not sorry for tweets despite his ban from joining the 2010 World Series championship team reunion.
Yeah, he said they told him no, and they told him fuck you.
Yeah. So apparently Aubrey Huff says he will not apologize.
Good.
For his tweets that got him banned from the Giants' planned World Series reunion. This is who I am. Listen, I'm not apologizing for anything I'm not sorry for.
Love it.
This whole apology thing, I'm so fucking sick and tired of this. And you know what? You know who brought this to light years ago was O&A.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had a weekly Friday show where they went through and they had audio of various people in the media, whether they were actors or athletes or musicians or whatever, making apologies.
Right.
For something they may have said or something. What was it? What was it called? Apology Friday or something like that?
Yeah.
They had they had like, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 audio clips of people apologizing.
Yeah. And then losing their jobs. That was the thing, is they would apologize, but then they would lose their job anyway. So it was like, why the fuck would you ever apologize?
Yeah.
You know, there's no reason to do it. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Do not apologize.
Yeah.
Dude, unless you truly did something that you feel sorry about doing. If you really feel sorry about what you did, okay, you can apologize. But apologizing just because you have pressure on you, fuck that.
Yeah. Just own it.
Just say, fuck you. That's the real answer. The real answer is not, I'm sorry. It's fuck you.
Yeah. Just own it. Just, you know, if you said something, you know, and you really believe that or whatever the case may be, just own it and say, yeah, I'm not apologizing for that. I'm sorry. It doesn't match your thoughts, but that's what I think. And, you know, you don't have to accept it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to apologize because your feelings were hurt or it doesn't align with your thought process.
Exactly. If you don't like it, don't fucking listen to me or come to my venue or come to my store or whatever. You know who's our most shining star moment in the CMS world for that?
Rick Camuglia.
Yeah. Rick with the Black Olives Matter. Bunch of people fucking demanded he apologize, and we're going to boycott his goddamn place and nobody's going to eat there or whatever. And he didn't apologize, had fun with it, and was like, fuck you. I'm not apologizing for shit. You know what? He's still in business and doing quite fine.
Yeah, and he sold more shirts with the Black Olives Matter.
Yeah.
I mean, he made more money doing that than he did on food sales.
That's right. We each have a Black Olives Matter shirt.
I do. I have one.
I have one.
Yeah. But it was so funny, and I'll tell this story real quick. But I was in the car, and I was listening to the local talk station in Chicago.
Okay.
And Rick was on there being interviewed.
Okay.
And I was listening to a story, and then when we did our show,
right,
I talked about it here on our show, and somehow he heard about us.
Yeah.
And he reached out to us because we mentioned him on the show, and now he's like a bro.
Yeah, he's a bro and an avid listener to the CMS.
He is. I see him. He posts shit on our social media stuff on various things, and he's still there after all these years.
Mm-hmm. He's good. He's good people, but he did it the right way. He was in some controversy for something that was stupid. He wasn't sorry that he did it, not even a little bit. He was like, it's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's a fucking joke.
Yeah, he made fun of Black Lives Matter, God forbid.
Yeah. In a joking way, not in like whole black people are killed type of way.
Yeah, it was a tongue-in-cheek satire.
Yeah. And he said, I'm not apologizing, and just carried right on. And it worked out just fine for him. Just fine. Good for him. Happy for that guy.
Yeah. So, Rick, if you're listening, we still love you, bro.
Yeah, we salute you, my friend.
Yeah. Anyway, the former first baseman tells us being open and honest with his Twitter account has helped him deal with anxiety and depression issues. And he says he's not willing to change that just to participate in the Giants ceremony on August 16th.
Good. Good for him.
I don't believe at my heart that I'm a bad person, Huff said. I love having fun with people and on my Twitter. If you really look at my Twitter, I don't once attack anybody.
So there you go.
As for the people who say they're offended by Huff's controversial tweets on the social media app, he says his solution for them is simple. I say them, get off Twitter.
Who's his publicist? Is his name W. Neely?
Yeah, it is. Huff says several of his former teammates have reached out to him and told them that they disagree with the team's decision, but he says he does not want them to boycott the ceremony. Yeah. I'm not going to be that guy that's going to ask them all to do that, Huff says. I mean, it's a very special moment, but I will say this, for the reunion, I do have a trick up my sleeve.
Yeah, pal.
The San Francisco Giants will not allow Aubrey Huff to be a part of their 2010 World Series reunion later this year, and they say it's all because of the ex-star's actions on Twitter.
Oh, no.
Oh, my.
He said something on social media.
Yeah, he did something that we don't like.
So therefore, he doesn't exist.
Exactly. Earlier this month, we reached out to Aubrey Huff to let him know that he will not be included in the upcoming 2010 World Series Championship reunion. The Giants said in a statement on Monday, Aubrey has made multiple comments on social media that are unacceptable, and they run counter to the values of our organization. So in other words, you said stuff that we don't necessarily agree with.
Just shut up.
So your contributions to the team are null and void.
That's right.
You no longer exist as far as we're concerned.
Yeah. Well, good. Now he doesn't have to wear waders to get to the fucking show. In downtown Shitsville, California.
Exactly. Huff has used his Twitter page to send off controversial tweets almost weekly through the last couple of years. But it was a series of comments he made about the Giants hiring a female bench coach last month that really landed him in hot water.
Ooh, I wonder how hot it was.
Just hours after the San Francisco made Alyssa Naken, N-A-K-K-E-N, not naked, but Naken, the first full-time female coach in MLB history, Huff ripped the move, writing, "Couldn't imagine taking baseball instructions from an ex-female softball player."
I don't understand why that's really that bad.
Well, because it's anti-woman.
Yeah, but still.
It's misogynistic.
What does she know about hitting a fucking baseball?
Probably nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
She's watched it, but she's never done it.
No, she's never participated in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, she's never hit a 102-mile-an-hour fastball. She can watch all the video that she wants to of it. That's fucking... There's a lot of mechanics that go into that. And yeah, she could see some of it, but she's not going to have any knowledge.
Yeah. Well, how very progressive and politically correct the San Francisco Giants have been for hiring a woman.
Well, and the 49ers, too. It goes around out there because the 49ers have that female coach, too. The whatever. Her. I see the commercial celebrating her.
Yeah, very brave. Very progressive.
Very bold.
Very progressive.
Very bold, very brave.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He later added, "I got in trouble for wearing a thong in my own clubhouse when female reporters were present. Can't imagine how it will play out with a full-time female coach running around. This has Me Too and Believe All Women written all over it." Huff, who has also made headlines last year for his pro-Donald Trump. Oh, my God! He likes the president of the United States?
I say murder him.
You mean somebody who was elected by the people? He likes him?
He should be killed for that.
He should be. He made pro-Donald Trump tweets about teaching his kids to use guns. Oh, my God, guns?
Why haven't they taken this guy off the planet?
Oh, my God, he can't exist.
He is the devil.
Oh, he likes Trump and he likes guns?
I'll bet he grabs pussy.
Oh!
I'll bet you he grabbed the pussy once
The
or twice.
horror of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Because baseball doesn't have groupies.
No. There's no such thing as slump busters, where they bang anybody just to fucking break their slump.
Yeah.
That's not a real thing.
No. Huff, who had also made headlines last year for his pro-Donald Trump tweets about teaching his kids to use guns just in case Bernie Sanders becomes the next president, was not happy about the Giants' decision to bar him from the celebration.
Should he have been?
No.
Should he have been like, oh, thank God they're not inviting me?
Right. I only helped them win a World Series, but why would you invite me?
Yeah. Thank God they didn't invite me.
Right. Quite frankly, shocked, Huff told The Atlantic on Monday, disappointed.
Outraged.
If it wasn't for me, they wouldn't have been having a reunion. But if they want to stick to their politically correct, progressive bullshit, that's fine. Huff went on to blast the team's CEO, Larry Baer, who was caught on video last year in a fight with his wife for the move, writing, I find this whole thing very hypocritical coming from a man who has had his share of real controversy for pushing his wife. He added, and while I'm disappointed, the Giants are so opposed to President Trump and our constitutional rights that they uninvited me to the team's reunion. It shows me now more than ever we have to stand up for our First Amendment rights.
So thanks for the millions of dollars and go fuck yourself.
Yeah, more or less.
Yep.
Huff was a superstar for the Giants in 2010, hitting .290 and 26 home runs and 86 RBIs. He finished 7th in the MVP vote for that season. The Giants, though, say that there's no chance they let him be a part of the reindeer game. Oh, wait a minute, that's something else. be part of their planned reunion on August 16th, saying, while we appreciate the many contributions that Aubrey made in 2010, we stand by our decision.
And now what they've done is sunk this whole thing.
Yeah.
Might as well cancel the whole thing, because when he's not there, everybody in that fucking stadium is going to be chanting Aubrey. Everybody in that stadium will be chanting Aubrey because he's not allowed to be there.
Right.
And you know he's going to make a big deal about not being there.
Of course.
He's going to get on every sports talk radio thing and talk about how he's been banned because of his fucking speech. Good. Good. Aubrey, you're welcome to come here.
Yeah. We'd love to have that guy on.
Yeah. We'll even play some Giant music with allegedly your cousin. The other Huff guy.
Yeah, exactly. Dan
Huff, yeah.
Dan Huff, yeah.
Wonder if they're related.
No idea.
Ironic that they're both attached to Giants.
Exactly. I think there's a theme there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, good on him. And fuck Major League Baseball. Talk about a sport that's fucked. They're fucked. This kind of thing, the cheating thing, the
whole Astros thing.
Yeah. The Astros is a whole thing. They just cheated for years. Now they're going to nail the Red Sox to the wall too. For the same thing. You see that? They're going to get the Red Sox too?
Yeah.
Bunch of cheating fucks. Yeah, somehow if I was Aubrey Huff, I wouldn't be too worried about being banned from some celebration in this cheater sport. Fuck them. And they're ruining the game. I don't know. Are you a baseball fan?
I am. I go to the Pirate game, sure.
But are you a fan or do you just go?
I go. Well, no, I'm a fan. I mean, I'm not like a hardcore, like I know statistics and who's doing what, where, and whatnot. You know, I follow the Pirates. I mean, they're not a championship team. I mean, when I came up, you know, when I was a kid, obviously they won the World Series in 71 and 79.
Right.
And, you know, I lived in Pittsburgh during that time, and it was just like, you know, that's my team. So win or lose, I'm still a fan. I like still going to the games. I don't give a shit if they're, you know, if they're contenders or not. I just enjoy the experience.
Did you see that they changed the rule to where now relief pitchers have to pitch 3 batters? Because they're trying to save time?
Yeah, well, again, they've been trying to do that for the last few years about doing things about like the on the mound meetings and stuff. They have like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to drag the game out. What they're trying to do is they're trying to speed the game up and not have so many delays, because apparently what their thought process is that there's too many delays in the game and people get bored and tired and stuff. So they're trying to, instead of changing out a pitcher every other batter, in a situation where they know, well, this next guy, he's a lefty, or this next guy, he's a righty. Well, we're going to switch the pitcher with the batter, I get that, and I think it's kind of a dumb rule, but I understand what they're trying to accomplish there.
What's the purpose of trying to speed up the game? Dude, have you ever gone to any event? I don't care what it is. A concert, a football game, a baseball game, soccer, hockey, anything, where you were like, man, I wish this would hurry up and end. Have you ever done that, ever?
No, for me personally, no.
No one's doing that. No one's doing that. If you don't want to do that, play 3-inning games. How about that? If you want to speed it up, make it a 3-inning game.
Right.
Or 1 inning. Then you could get it down to a half hour. Just play 1 inning. Fuck. So stupid that trying to speed it up. And how much time are you really saving? 5 minutes?
Yeah.
In the course of an entire game? 5 minutes, maybe. How about this? Why do they need to take 8 pitches after they just took 150 pitches in the fucking bullpen? How about you only get 8 pitches if you come in if somebody gets hurt?
Right.
If you come in from the bullpen, you're supposed to be warmed up. Come in, fucking throw 1 or 2 to get used to the mound and play ball, bitches. That Manfred guy is a dick. He's fucking changing the rules of the game. He's got cheating all over in his thing. He thinks of the trophy as just a piece of metal. He's like, I'm not going to... Did you hear that?
Yes.
I'm not going to try and just take away a piece of metal from these guys. These guys... The Astros are just fucked this year. How many fights do you think the Astros get in this year?
Oh, it's going to be a mess.
The people that got fucked out of the championship are going to be throwing at their heads.
Of course.
That Altuve guy is going to be... He's going to show up wearing bubble wrap just because he doesn't want to get hit by the pitch.
Right.
I mean, that guy's going to get 1 million pitches thrown at him
right.
this year. And balls behind him and shit. You know it. And I love it. Personally, for the first time ever, I think I'm going to be an Astros fan. I'm going to watch the Astros just because I know they'll be fighting all the time. And fans are going to be sitting there banging on chairs and shit, like they're giving signals and shit.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mess.
I know.
I love it. I actually am excited about that. For the first time in a while, I'm excited about something other than the Indians in baseball.
Yeah.
I am definitely excited to see the Astros just get fucked with.
Well, you know what contributes to all of this, don't you?
What?
It's just this obscene money in sports.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing is when back when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
obviously athletes made a pretty good living, but they weren't like multi-millionaires then. I remember the first time that any athlete or baseball athlete rather, Dave Parker, of the Pirates, he was the first $1 million player.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I remember that was such a big deal that they're paying Dave Parker $1 million.
Yeah.
To be the right fielder.
Mm-hmm.
And, it just ballooned from there. Now these players, whether it's baseball or football or basketball or whatever, these guys are signing contracts for 6, 8, 10 years, and they're like being paid $200 million.
Dude. For Francisco Lindor here, they're saying that he said he won't give Cleveland a hometown discount, and he's looking for 10 years, $350 million. $350 million. The fuck out of here with that. There's no player worth $350 million.
Yeah.
None.
But, again, back in the 70s when Dave Parker signed that contract, it was like $1 million.
Yeah.
That's like chump change now.
Yeah, that's the guy on the bench now.
Yeah.
That guy on the bench probably makes $1 million too, just to sit there and play like 30 games a year.
Exactly. Hail and Kill caller, you're on the air.
Hail and Kill. Manfred makes Goodell look like a genius. This guy, he is being so soft towards the guys that cheated. It's unbelievable. The other thing that came out today, the Astros had their first preseason game in Florida or whatever, Arizona, wherever it was, and the stadium wouldn't let the fans bring in signs, saying cheaters or Astros with an asterisk and all that stuff. So now, I guarantee you, and I'm all for it, I say first batter of each Astros game, throw at their head, because Manfred's not going to do anything until the first game happens where a pitcher goes behind the guy's head, and they're going to punish the pitcher, which is absolute bullshit.
Yeah. Well, the thing that drives me crazy is Pete Rose. Pete Rose and the cheating or in the gambling it's bad. It's a bad look. It's terrible. He didn't bet on his game, but even not betting on his team, is kind of like betting that they're going to lose. I understand. I understand it, but it's been 40 fucking years already. The guy didn't do it when he was a player, and he's the single greatest hitter in the history of the fucking game. And they're not letting him into the fucking Hall of Fame or any of the baseball festivities, and they pretend like he doesn't exist. But the Astros get to keep their shit. Barry Bonds is considered the home run champion, beating
Mark
Babe
McGwire.
Ruth and Garen and Mark McGwire and, the 65 home runs or 70 home runs or whatever it was. It's like they know certain people cheated, and they hold them to one standard. Then the people that cheated before, they're not held to the same standard. It's fucking a disaster. Go ahead.
This is David from Cincinnati, so don't even get me started about Pete. I mean, he came, I don't know if you heard this, about a week and a half ago, he came out, got his lawyers together, sent a letter that said, hey guys, I've been punished enough. What these guys did is way worse than I did, and it's been 40 frickin' years. Give me a break. The thing that's going to make every Cincinnati Reds fan mad, which I am, growing up in Cincinnati, is they're going to put him in after he's dead. And that's not fucking right.
Yeah, I agree. It's not right.
He was one of the greatest baseball players of all time. Sure, he broke the rules, but God damn it, it's been 40 years.
But he broke the rules not as a player. If you don't want to let him in as a manager, fine. Don't let him in as a manager. He never broke the rules as a player.
Right. That's what gets me about this whole thing with the Astros again. The only people to get punished were the managers. Mm-hmm. The players haven't got punished at all. And they can switch teams and go away, and most of them will be forgotten. But I don't know, man. I say throw at everybody's head until Manfred does something to punish the entire club.
Yeah, he should definitely do something to the entire team. This nonsense of just firing the two managers, the Boston guy and the Astros guy, and the GM getting fired. That's nothing. That's bullshit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. When you think about baseball, you don't think about the GM. No one thinks about the general manager. Nobody could probably even name the GM of the Astros that got fired.
No.
But the hypocritical thing about is, look at and again, this is my baseball dorkiness coming out here, but I don't buy for one fucking second. I don't care. I know baseball is out there spinning it, and it's driving me crazy. There's no way in fuck that this 160-pound Altuve all of a sudden hit 35 home runs a year and fucking hit 350. Get the fuck out of here with that. He's going to hit 240 this year. Watch. He's going to go right to shit because because he's a small guy without power, and what helped him was knowing what was coming.
Did you see the one highlight they showed of whoever hitting a breaking ball off of Chapman a mile long? You tell me you can hit a home run like that off of Aroldis Chapman that throws 103 miles an hour? No way.
Yeah.
It's so lame. And the most hypocritical thing to me, about 15 years ago, I went to an Indians game at Jacobs Field because I'd never been there before. And I walked in, and the first thing I noticed for the first time was Ohio lottery banners everywhere. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And I said to my friend, what the hell? Baseball's taking sponsorship money from gambling now? And now it's all over the place with DraftKings and all those other gambling sites, local casinos, all advertising the stadiums, but Pete is still fucking banned for gambling.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. That guy should be let in already. I mean, forget it. He's not shoeless Joe Jackson. He didn't tank a World Series, for God's sakes.
Right. And and honestly, when Pete was a manager of the Reds, they weren't very good. That was way after the 70 Reds. You know, Neely, like you said, in the 70s, it was the Pirates and the Reds fighting for it
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, in that division. You know, and the thing is, the Reds weren't good in the 80s with Pete as a manager. You know? Yeah. In the late 70s, after Dave Parker, you mentioned, left and went to the Reds, they were good again. But when Pete took over as manager, they weren't very good.
Yeah, if he was betting on the Reds, he wasn't betting a lot because fucking they lost most of their games. They were shit in the late 80s.
Yeah. Funny story, side note. I remember as a kid growing up, there was a racetrack in Cincinnati called River Downs, and it came out in the paper once. This was before he got caught. It came out in the paper once that him and a buddy hit a superfecta for like $12,000, and Pete was one of the guys, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's not surprising." Everybody in town knew he was a gambler, you know. Of
course.
So it's lame, dude.
I think what has hurt Pete now is that he still gambles. Like, he openly gambles, which doesn't help his cause any.
Correct. And, again, he should have taken your advice, Chris, years ago. Never apologize. He should have said, fuck you guys.
Yeah, but he didn't. He apologized, and what did it do? Got him nothing. Got him fucked forever.
Yeah. I'm living it every day, dude. I don't apologize anymore. I love it.
Good. Don't apologize for shit.
It stinks. You know, it really stinks. Thank you. I appreciate you letting me vent about Pete Rose because he was my childhood hero.
Well,
and I pretty much hate baseball now.
I can hear it in your voice, dude, that you and I and Chris are very much alike when it comes to our childhood sports heroes and our favorite teams. You know, obviously Chris is an Indians fan, and I love the Pirates, and you love the Reds, and, you know, it sticks with you for a lifetime. And, you know, we had our heroes, you know, our Willie Stargels and our Pete Roses and our, you know, Dave Parkers and our Roberto Clementis and our Johnny Benches and, you know, all that. Those guys will live forever in our minds as the best of the best.
You know who was great, too, was Marge Schott, owner of the Reds. You remember what she called Eric Davis? When they won the World Series in 1990, you don't remember what she called him?
I can't remember.
Her $1 million nigger.
I remember that she got in a lot of trouble for her language and stuff, but I didn't remember exactly what she said.
And you know what Eric's response to it was in the media? He said, Marge can call me whatever she wants. I love her.
Yeah.
Because she cared about the players and she won a World Series.
Yeah. And she paid them well.
Yeah. You know, but back then, I mean, God, if that would happen now, holy shit. You know, but back in 1990, you could still get away with stuff like that, even though she got shamed like Lemmy did for Nazi memorabilia, which he collected.
Yeah.
Because she was 70-some years old when she won the World Series back in 90. You know, the city loved her. But the national media got her kicked out of ownership because of her language and her beliefs. Stupid. Who gives a shit?
Well, she didn't apologize, though, did she?
Nope.
Yeah.
Did not at all.
So she went to her grave with her cigarette in her hand and said, "Fuck you all!"
With a piece of metal World Series trophy.
Yeah, and $1 billion.
Yeah. And you know what she did with all the money when she died? Gave it to Children's Hospital in Cincinnati.
That
bitch.
fucking cunt.
What a cunt.
Yeah. I know, giving it to charity. What a whore. You know? Crazy. I don't know.
I hate
Can't
her.
wait till it's over, Chris, right?
Exactly.
Hail and kill, fuck you, pal. His job!
There's one of our fans just passionate about his sports.
Yeah, he loves his Reds.
He does.
I loved Pete Rose as a player, though. I was a definite Pete Rose fan.
Dude,
when
I
he was
mean,
Philly,
how could you not notice that guy?
Oh, he was great.
Yeah.
Dude, that Reds team in the late 70s, holy mother of fuck, they were good.
Mm-hmm.
With Tony Perez and Pete Rose and Johnny Bench and was the left fielder George something that hit all the home runs, like the darkest black guy ever. What was his name? George Foster.
George Foster. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good team.
Yeah.
And Dave Concepcion was on that team. I think all those guys are in the Hall of Fame except Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Except the best player of
He doesn't belong, pal.
Yeah. And Joe Morgan was on that team, too.
Yeah, Joe Morgan. Yeah, I forgot
He's
about
in
him.
the Hall of Fame, too.
Yeah.
The whole team was Hall of Famers. Bench is in the Hall of Fame. I think Perez is in the Hall of Fame. Morgan's in the Hall of Fame. Pete should be in the Hall of Fame. Concepcion's in the Hall of Fame. Foster, I don't think, is in the Hall of Fame, but he's like borderline. And I think that's it for that team. And Bench, Johnny Bench. That was a good fucking team. And they only won like one or two, didn't they?
Yeah, they weren't real successful. They were always neck and neck with the Pirates during that era. Always.
I remember 79. I was a Pirates fan too. I've watched the Indians, but the Indians were terrible. And my dad could not just stomach only seeing losses when we would go to games. So he would take me to Pittsburgh to the old Three Rivers.
Yeah, sure.
That stadium that was made out of steel. That was always funny. You go and you'd sit in the stadium and everybody would start stomping their feet and it sounded like a goddamn train.
Yeah.
Because it was all the seating and everything was on steel, not cement. We used to go to Pirates games all the time. I went to a bunch of those games in the 79, 80, 81. I know I've told the story about getting in the dugout and getting my baseball signed by all of those guys, but yeah, Willie Stargell was my dude, man.
Yeah, of course.
Willie Stargell, Bill Matlock.
The Mad Dog.
Mad Dog, Bill Madden. That guy could hit like nobody's business.
Yeah, third baseman.
I don't know why is he not in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
That guy was good.
You had Tim Foley and Phil Garner.
Yeah. Manny Concepcion. Ed Ott. Manny Sanguillen. Manny Concepcion.
Yeah.
Manny Sanguillen.
Catcher Manny Sanguillen.
Yeah, and Ed Ott was the other catcher.
Mm-hmm.
And Omar Moreno.
Base stealer.
Yeah.
Center fielder.
I just remember, the thing I remember best, and I know we're just rambling about nothing, but Omar Moreno got hit in the hand with a pitch in 1980, and it broke his knuckle. So he bent his fucking finger that was broken around his baseball bat.
Yeah.
Taped it that way and left it like he would stick it out the back of his glove. So when he was fielding,
yeah,
but he kept his finger taped, bent, so it would fit around his bat, and never missed a single at bat the entire season, even though he had a broken hand for most of the year.
Yeah. Then he went to the Astros.
Yeah.
When they were still in the National League.
Yeah, he wasn't as good with the Astros.
No.
He went right from being a great player to being like a 235 hitter. Just like that. But he could steal some bases.
So funny. I sit here thinking, this is 35 years removed, and I think about this now, and it's just like I remember this like it was yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And what's ironic is you probably can't name the team from 5 years ago.
No, of course not, because it wasn't. That was the glory days. Mm-hmm. That was when a lot of the players stayed with teams for years.
Sure.
But now, players switch out every 2 years, or they're, traded out, or whatever. And it's not the same. It's certainly not the same.
Well, like you watch the Pirates.
Yeah,
right?
I do.
Can you name 5 players that are not Pirates?
Not really, no.
It's like a chore, isn't it?
It is. It's not like it used to be, because when a team had a core team, they stayed that way for years.
Mm-hmm.
But now they switch out players like socks.
Yeah. I mean, you create, like, I think I could name 5. I don't think I could name 20. I could probably name 10, but I don't think I could name 20. And there was a time that I could tell you every player in every lineup and what they were hitting and, what their batting average was, how many doubles they would hit, how many home runs they had. There was a time I was that guy.
Yeah, well, again, that goes back to the old days, because I used to collect baseball cards like a lot of kids did. And, I used to study all the statistics on the back of those baseball cards, and I used to know all that stuff. But then, it's not the same anymore. The loyalty is not the same.
Yeah. And they even ruined that as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
They ruined baseball cards as a hobby to where I don't even think they make full teams anymore. I think they only make like cards of the stars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they make like every player anymore. And I don't even think Topps is the like the real guy, like the main card company.
Yeah, Topps used to be it. Then it. I'm trying to think of the other. Fleer and
Don Russ were the two.
Yeah, Don Russ. That's the other one that I was trying to think of. Yeah.
I had all of them. I remember because they came out, Fleer and Don Russ came out in 1981. And the Fleer cards were the coolest of the cool because they were just like modern. They like had modern graphics on them. And I wish I would have kept all my cards, man, because
I still have mine.
Oh, if you got the Fleer ones, most of those are worth something because almost all of them had mistakes on them. They had guys' names spelled wrong. They had the wrong stats on the cards. They had them batting left-handed when they were batting right-handed. A lot of them had the wrong picture on the card. Like, it would say it's Tim Foley and it was Phil Garner or something. They were just fucked. They were fucked, and all those cards became worth a lot of money. Dude, I was such a card collector. This is just my life. I'm just an aholic. Anything I put my mind into, I'm addicted to. I was such a baseball card collector that I used to buy. They used to have the big baseball card book that you could buy every year.
I didn't have that. I just had a shoebox.
I had the books. Well, I had all my cards in books. I definitely had them all in books. But I had a book that would tell you every card that had ever been printed and what the value was of the card that year. And I used to go to card shows when I was like 13, 14 years old with like my doubles and triples of the good cards, and I would sell them. But anytime anybody would offer me anything, I'd had that book with me, and people would get pissed off at me because I'd go to the book. And they'd be like I used to have like 8 or 9 Ricky Henderson rookie cards.
Right.
Because it was like a really cool, I don't know if you ever saw it, but it's a really cool picture of him with the batting stance, and he had that cool batting stance. So I had like 8 or 9 of them. And I remember at this card show, guy offered me like $1 a card. And I was like, fuck you, dude. And I pulled up in the book, and they were like $3.20 a card. And I showed him in the book, and he's like, get away from me, kid. You're an annoying piece of shit.
Yeah.
He told me I was an annoying piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because I wanted fair value for my card.
Yeah, sure.
And those were the days, man.
Yeah. Well, back in the late 70s into the early 80s, before he got traded to the Indians, the Pirates had the coolest catcher ever with Tony Pena.
Oh yeah,
with his stance, he used to like crouch down and have his right leg pushed out in front, and he used to lean over his right leg.
Yeah,
and then he'd be able to get up off of there and throw out a runner at second,
or throw from his ass.
Yeah.
He used to throw guys out from his ass.
Yeah, that guy was amazing.
He was great.
Yeah, he was my favorite catcher next to Manny Sanguillen, of course. But that guy had such a unique, way of catching. But that guy was something else.
Yeah, he was awesome. I was a big fan of Tony Pena.
Yeah.
Especially when he came to the Indians. I was thrilled when he came to the Indians.
Yeah, and another one, none of my favorite players was Bert Blyleven. He was the Holland. He was from Holland originally, and he got traded to the Indians too.
Sure did. Had that wicked curveball. Jesus. That shit. That dude would throw a curve that would drop like 2 feet.
Yeah.
That was a fucking wicked curveball.
Yeah. So he was my favorite pitcher.
Sure.
You know. So yeah, just thinking back about that stuff, it was just like such a good memory.
It was fun. Dude, my favorite pitcher from look, somebody put a picture of Tony Pena in there for you. There it's
Let's take a look here.
There he is.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah. Dude, my favorite pitcher from the Pirates always was Kent Tekulve.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got to meet him a few years ago. He was doing the broadcast, the after show wrap-up thing. Mm-hmm. And it was through Comcast. You know, Comcast had a booth right down there on the mezzanine at PNC Park. And prior to the broadcast, I went over and said hello to him, you know, and chatted with him for about 2 minutes before he said, I gotta go. I got to broadcast. But it was cool because he was just right out there, you know, getting ready to get in his little broadcast area and, you know, start calling, you know, making commentary on the game.
Does he call Pirates games? Is that what he calls?
Well, it was sort of commentary, not calling, just commentary.
Does he? Is that what he does?
Well, I don't know what he does now because they've changed to another, you know, broadcast system, so he's not doing that anymore. But he was the Comcast Sports for the Pirates at PNC Park, and they changed that to some other broadcast thing now, so he's not doing that with the Pirates anymore.
Looking to see. No, he retired from broadcasting in 2017.
Yeah.
So he's not doing shit. He's sitting home.
Yeah. The submariner, man.
Sure, the only thing he does is picks up rocks off his driveway because he can't lift his arm any further. Guy's never put anything on a shelf in his life.
Yeah.
Wow, he had a heart transplant. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He had a heart transplant. Holy shit. Probably picked the one that's in his chest up off the ground. Here's one I can use. Whoop.
Exactly.
He was a stud, though, man. No one could hit him.
No.
No one could hit him.
He had like a spaghetti arm.
Yeah. Him and what was the other guy? The guy that died. Quisenberry.
Yeah.
Dan Quisenberry.
Yeah, he had the same similar pitching style.
One of them, I don't remember which one, but I remember one of them, like, fielded a ball and threw overhand and tore their fucking elbow up. I don't remember which one it was.
I don't think it was Tekulve. I don't think it was him. I don't recall that.
Quisenberry. But I just remember one of them, they threw a ball hard overhand and tore their elbow up and was like on the disabled list because they just didn't throw overhand.
Yeah.
Tekulve never threw overhand.
Mm-mm.
I mean, even when he would field a ball, he still threw it from his shoe tops.
Yeah.
Did you play baseball or no?
Yeah, I did.
Did you ever pitch?
No.
I tried my damnedest to throw like Kent Tekulve sometimes.
tried to do the submarine throw.
I knew how to do it, and I worked on it in my backyard because I pitched and I played center field, and I was left-handed, so you know I had that natural curve back, like the ball curves. It would curve into a left-handed batter, curves away from a right-handed batter. Right. That's why a left-handed pitcher is so valuable because they could throw a ball 95 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, and it curves away from a right-handed bat, which you know that's the strength of it. But I always would practice when I'd be practicing with my dad in the backyard or whatever. I would take the last 10, 15 pitches that I would throw and try and do the Tekulve thing and just fucking trying to get my arm. And I remember I watched Tekulve in some video or something explaining it. And he said that he knows he's thrown a good pitch if he looks at his hand at the end of a game and he had grass stains or dirt stains on his hand.
Okay, he's dragging his knuckles, huh?
Well, because that was how that pitch, if you remember the pitch, when he would let it go, it would stay low and it would just kind of like lollipop in there. It would voop.
Yep.
You know, but it would stay low. It was always right at the knees. It was never high. And that was the thing, was the lower you could get, the lower the ball would go if you let it go at the right place. And so I would practice it. And I swear I only tried it one time in a game and a guy hit a fucking triple off me. I was like, son of a bitch. And I just remember my dad was my coach and he's yelling from the side, don't you throw like that again.
Yeah.
All right. Because I tried it one time in a game. I practiced for years. I mean, quite literally years to do that. Threw it once in a game and a guy ripped a triple. I was like, all right, I guess that's the end of that.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Yeah. Well, that definitely was not your natural throwing, way of doing, but for some reason it worked for him.
Yeah. It was such a weird thing because who would have taught him that? That was always what I always thought was, who thought of that?
I don't know.
He had to learn that early. And every coach that he went to at every next level had to be like, this is bullshit. Nobody, I mean, think about it. Before Tucolvi, I never saw anybody throw like that. Did you?
No, not at all.
So he had to make it to college. And then in college, some coach had to say, well, I guess he's throwing strikes. Let's give it a shot. And then go to minor leagues, A-ball, AA, AAA, and each time be like convincing a coach that it was a valid way to pitch. I always found it interesting. Guys that do something completely different. Like Ricky Henderson was another favorite of mine. That fucking guy, the way that guy batted, or like Rod Carew.
Yeah.
Remember Rod Carew?
Mm-hmm.
That guy, when he went up to bat, he didn't even look like he was facing the right way.
Yeah.
He would put one foot in the back of the batter's box. He'd have the other foot almost like he was daring the pitcher to hit him in the balls with the pitch. Like he would wide open. He had his legs wide open saying, here, suck it. And I mean, but that guy could hit like no one's business.
Yeah.
One of the best hitters in the history of the game. And dude, I used to study all these guys. Rod Carew, I saw an interview with him at one point, and he said the reason he could hit as well as he did was because he filled his mouth as full as he could with chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
And the reason he did that was because it made it so that his eye would stay in one place when he was hitting. So my I don't know, sophomore year of high school or whatever, I would come to every single game with a big pouch of Big League Chew. Remember Big League Chew?
Of course.
And I would load my face up right when it was time to go and bat so that I couldn't fucking blink my eye so that I could hit. And it did work. I will say it did work. I fucking hit like a machine. And those are good times.
Right.
I wish I would have stayed with baseball because I don't know that I would have been a superstar, but I know I would have hit 250. As I hit my junior year, I hit 565 for my high school and made all state. My senior year, I hit 4 something and was all state again. I mean, I could play. I had scholarships to go and play and everything.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and then I just decided that I wanted to fight with my dad instead and go to the military instead of. Why would I fucking take advantage of the best break I was ever going to get?
Yeah, pal.
When I could tell my dad, fuck you, and join the army out of spite.
Yeah.
Because I was a brilliant kid. Just brilliant.
So funny. Well, do you need a break or you want to talk about something else?
Talk about something else. I don't care.
All right. Well, since we're talking about sports and whatnot.
Yeah.
Grandma Pocahontas Warren. She urges Arizona to reject the quote unquote cruel bill banning males from competing in female sports.
Banning males from but women can compete in male sports?
No, what they're saying, what she's saying is that it's all about this whole transgender shit.
Okay, and she wants to let men?
Yes.
Oh, of course she
because
does.
she's very progressive, very brave.
She's an idiot.
I know, of course.
Did you watch the debates at all?
No, I can't stomach it.
I was just curious. I didn't watch any.
I can't stomach it. I can't watch that. It's just horrific.
The only thing I heard was all I needed to hear was that fucking cocksucker Bloomberg got his ass handed to him.
Yeah, he did.
And that's all I heard, and that's all I need to hear. As long as that fucking asshole's not in. I'm fine with everybody else that wants to run. I'm fine with them running because they can't beat Trump.
Nope.
But Bloomberg could buy his way in.
Yeah. Anyway, Democratic presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren on Thursday decried an Arizona bill that would prevent biological males from competing in girls' sports, calling the legislation cruel.
So why don't we just get rid of women's sports?
Yeah, well, why don't we just like get rid of sports altogether then?
No, we can have sports, but just call it sports.
Yeah. Anybody
can come out and play.
Yeah.
If you're good enough, then you're good enough. If you're not, then you're not.
Right.
You know, because isn't just having a female track team or something, isn't that just building something of lesser value?
Apparently so. Same way with women's basketball.
Yeah, well, I mean, who watches any of that shit?
Nobody.
Yeah, so, you know, as far as the way I see it, let's just get rid of it. Let's just call it sports.
Yeah.
Here's the baseball team. Here's the wrestling team. Here's the track team. If you can throw the shot put further than the guy, then you're on it. If you can't, then you're off.
Right.
Oh, I guess you can't do that because then there'd be no females playing anything.
Probably.
And you would have these guys that are pretending they're women stop pretending they're women.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
Trans athletes are not a threat, Warren wrote in a tweet because she's a sports, she's an expert.
She looks athletic.
Yeah, we need to protect trans kids. How many trans kids are there?
Well, they're starting them now early. Look at D. Wade.
Yeah, but how many are there?
There's enough. See, here's the it's not so much how many, but there are more coming, which is they're gearing up for the future, I guess.
I guess, whatever.
But here's the real issue. The real issue is what you're doing is, and I can't believe, I know she's a fucking moron, but I can't believe that she's too stupid to see what's really happening here.
Well, she's pandering is what she's doing.
But
she doesn't really care about this issue. No. She's just pandering.
But she should actually care. See, I think, and again, this is only my thought.
Yeah.
They should care because what it's going to do is it's going to limit the amount of actual women that can get an education. Because you're gonna fucking pass all this transgender shit. You're gonna have a bunch of dudes grow their hair like me that are fucking athletic, but they're not quite good enough to compete with the guys.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna get let's say the 100-yard dash.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the top 3 guys in a high school 100-yard dash are probably running about 10, 11 seconds, I would imagine, for 100, because the Olympic speed is like 9.5 or something. So you're probably figuring 10.5 to 11.5, somewhere in there. The guy that can't run 11.5 can join the women's team at like 12 seconds and be the star.
Yeah, of course.
So if he gets the scholarship because he's the one that's getting all the glory or whatever, the victories, as a quote-unquote woman, the true women that would benefit are not going to get there. And what's going to happen? You're going to is what we're saying that anybody that is not physically dominant should not be able to participate in this shit? That's what it seems like, isn't it?
Well, yeah. You're putting up unfair competition between, a true female against a female that's, really biologically a guy.
Yeah. I mean, pretending that the muscle structure and the muscle strength is not a thing is foolish. It's just foolish. It is a thing. It is real. Why do you think guys are not supposed to hit women? Because you'll fucking hurt them because they're not as strong.
Yeah, they'll clock you right across the room.
If you're a trans woman, can you hit another woman?
I guess you can.
One positive for being trans.
We need to protect trans kids, all the LGBTQ plus ABC XYZ kids, and ensure they feel safe and welcome. All this safety stuff, everything's safe. Got to feel safe.
Feel safe.
Yeah, ensure they feel safe and welcomed at school. I urge the Arizona legislature to reject this cruel bill. The Save Women's Sports Act would assign high school students to interscholastic and intramural leagues by their biological sex, unheard of, rather than the gender in which they identify.
Can we not just have a trans team?
Yeah, why not have a trans team?
Well, yeah, you've got men, you got women, and you got a trans team.
Yeah.
Anybody that's unsure, go to the trans team. What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Because you're singling them out, that's why.
What do you think being on a women's team is? You're singling them out too.
Again, it's this trying to placate all the time.
Always.
Yeah. Rather than gender with what they identify, grouping biological females together and likewise for biological males. Well, doesn't that even the playing field when you got males against males and females against females?
I think.
The bill, introduced by State Representative Nancy Bardo, a Phoenix Republican and co-sponsor of the 22 other GOP state legislatures, is intended to protect female athletes from competing against athletes who possess an unfair advantage over them. Female student athletes should not be forced to compete in a sport against biological males who possess inherent psychological advantages or physiological advantages. Mm-hmm. When this is allowed, it discourages female participation in athletics, and worse, it can result in women and girls being denied crucial educational and financial opportunities, just like what you just said.
Yeah.
Both public and private schools, including community colleges and universities, would be bound by the law. In order for transgender students to challenge a rejection from a school sports league based on their male biology, the student must produce a sworn statement from a doctor describing the student's internal and external reproductive anatomy, his genetic makeup, normal androgynously produced levels of testosterone. Advocates of the LGBTQ rights have skewered the bill. The National Center of Lesbian Rights claim transgender athletes have not caused any issues and accused lawmakers of intending to polarize and divide the people. Transgender students have been allowed to compete in leagues with their preferred gender since 2014. The bill comes after 3 female high school students and their families filed a federal lawsuit seeking to block transgender athletes from competing in girls' sports in Connecticut.
Do you think you could coach a trans kid?
No.
I'm thinking of, because I coached baseball for my kid. And I coached it for, I think, 8 years or something.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know that I could. And not because I would really give a shit what they do. It's just, I can't fathom that I would be fair and equal. I can't fathom that there wouldn't be a part of me that would be like, man, this kid is just going to end up fucked in life.
Well, that's because you have a conscience about these things. You're not a pandering somebody who's trying to, oh man, I'm progressive. I'm look at me, I'm woke.
Yeah, I guess.
You let your conscience be your guide rather than just like, hey, this is the hip thing to do.
Yeah. I think I would have had to quit my kid's team.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't coach Johnny Vagina here.
Right.
I can't do it. I really don't think I could. Maybe that makes me sexist or whatever.
No, you're a bigot, man.
So be it. Whatever. Being honest. There's too little
you better
of that honesty,
you better apologize for being honest.
Well, this is why this is such a big issue, because people aren't honest. They're afraid to say what they think because then they'll be labeled.
Of course.
Don't want to be labeled.
Well, we can't have that.
No.
All right. Well, let's take a short break.
All right.
I got a request here for some Leather Wolf.
Okay.
Some Alone in the Night.
Perfect.
All right. So here's Leather Wolf exclusively here
on your Classic Metal Show.
This is Dean from Leatherwolf, and you're rocking with the Classic Metal Show.